Started. So after all this information that you heard this morning into this afternoon, why do we want to be in a relationship? Like, I was just listening in the back and I was just thinking to myself, after all of this, it would serve us better to just, live through life as a monk. I think they might be onto something. It'll be good for our heart. But the reason we commit into relationships is because Allah tells us to, and our Prophet says our deen is complete when we marry someone. So it becomes even more important. So I read a lot of Rumi and Shams, and they had this amazing teacher-student relationship. And how Rumi describes relationship and love is, every true love and friendship is a story of unexpected transformation. If we're the same person before and after love, that means we haven't loved and we haven't learned. And exactly as what Sheikh said earlier, once you are in a relationship, if you haven't transformed, or the person with you that you are in the relationship hasn't transformed over time, that really isn't a good relationship. What you need in your 20s is very different than what you're going to need in your 40s. And relationships, and you evolve. You're not the same person that you were at 18. Some of us sort of are, but you grow. And you want the person with you to grow as well. And if that growth isn't happening and someone stays stagnant, there's a problem in the relationship. So what is a relationship? Basically, a relationship is any kind of association or connection with two people. It can be intimate, it could be platonic, negative, positive. Being in a relationship means that there is some emotional connectivity between the two people. There's some exclusivity within the two people as well. So that could be...
Can everybody please be quiet so we can listen to the presentation?
Okay. So that could be from marriage to casual dating, monogamy. So this is some work that I'm doing right now, and I'm going to try to help you understand through the 4 quadrants, right? We're all human, so that's your X quadrant. And to be human, you have to have courage. And there are 4 quadrants, right? So if you are low on humanness and low on courage, those are the passive-aggressive people. They're not empathetic, they're toxic, they gossip, they like throwing people under the bus, and it's never their fault. They're ready to blame and point the finger at someone else. Now, people that are high on humanness and low on courage are the people pleasers. These are the ones that seek validation and approval of others. They're afraid of conflict. They don't, they take things personally. A lot of women sit in this quadrant because that's how we were raised, right? Don't speak up. Take the high road. It's okay. If you speak up, you're rude. So I was a people pleaser till I turned 40. I still am, it's my natural, not to say no, always volunteer. If someone is not respecting my boundaries, I'll let it go. Till I turned 40 and I was enough. I need to establish my boundaries. And I think it's a level of age and emotional intelligence that comes into play. So then we've got the people that are very high on courage and low on humanness. And I know a lot of people like that. And they're the agitators. They're very confident, competent, but lack connection. A lot of Desi men live here, right? I mean, it's just who they are. They're very, my way, highway, lack connection. A wife is there to serve. Kids are there to, you showcase, I have kids, and that's it. There's very low connection. And then there's the people that are high on humanness and high on courage. These are your partners. This is what a relationship is formed on trust, where you can speak up when your boundaries aren't being met, but you do it with warmth. You do it with caring. You see how it falls on the other person. They give constructive feedback. They're courageous, but they balance it with warmth. And that's where we all want to strive to get to. We want to be here. If you are a people pleaser, work on your courage. If you are low on humanness, start finding that warmth within you. There's something happening inside, in this gut, that you lack that humanness factor. Add that to the mix. And if you sit as an agitator, think about connection. There are people that now get coaches to help them bring out the warmth in them. I personally know someone that is working with a relationship coach. They're very aggressive, they know what they want, but they just can't add the warmth to it. All right, violence against women versus violence against men. In Texas, can you believe 35% of men have violence against them? And the number's neck and neck. For women, it's 34%. Women gets reported more, men does not get reported as much. But it's not that just the women are being beat up. How do women fight? How do we fight?
Slamming
Words.
something?
Words, right? Our fight is words. Our fight is emotional. How do men fight?
Physically.
Physical, right? That's just how we are made. It's the natural. But we also are agitators, right? We know exactly what button to push and how far to push it. So when we're done pushing, of course there's going to be a reaction to that, right? Men don't report the violence against them, whether it is verbal, mental, or physical. So we can't always hide to say, okay, we're the ones that are getting, violated. State of Texas is neck and neck. Divorce rates in the U.S. So Texas actually has a lower divorce rate than the other states. And one of the reasons that the divorce rate in Texas is lower is because we have a lot of immigrant population. And one thing immigrants do not do is get divorced, right? We
Stick to the bone.
We stick to it. No matter how bad it is or how good it is, you are trained. Yes, Bibi.
One of the reasons why Texas has a low divorce rate because they have common law marriages.
Yes.
So they don't go through a divorce system.
Right. But also, that was one of the reasons, but also because we are after New York, we have the second highest immigration rate. Actually, and we're now getting neck and neck up there with New York because, Texas is cheaper to live in. There are more corporations coming here. Daily, 1,500 people are immigrating into the state of Texas. Yeah. So, Muslims are likely, as general public, to be married, less likely to be divorced. We all know that, right? So, Muslims are at a 49% marriage rate. Living with a partner, we don't do that much. I wonder why. And then 6% are divorced and 35% are single that never have been married. Against the general public, which is 49%. But one thing we see in the general public is single living with a partner. We see that more. And 22% are single that have never been married. I'm gonna go to this one. People are taking longer to get married. Is that true?
Yes.
Have you seen that with your friends?
Yes.
Kids, your own kids, right? Right now, an average age for a woman to get married is 28. Average age for a man to get married is 30. And we are also seeing that in our Muslim community. Kids are waiting longer to get married. Now, I wonder, is that the education, they want to get educated, they want to have a job, they want to be stable, or they've seen their parents really struggle and work hard to get married, to live together, so now they're like, wait, we're going to take our time. Also, a lot of people are dating now too, so if you can date someone, do you really have to commit to the marriage? So there is people are taking a lot longer, which actually is not a good thing for our community, for community in general, not just the Muslim community. It is better to get married earlier because you grow together, right? If you are at 30 and 35, you are who you are, and it's very hard to bring in a new person into life and then say, okay, let's grow together because you're set, right? You've grown, you're there. So what is a healthy relationship? So for me, I don't know, I grew up watching Indian movies. How many of you grew up watching Indian movies? Okay, so for me, marriage was this prince is gonna show up and we are going to be out at a park and all these people are gonna show up and dance in the background and it's just gonna be love and great. Like that was marriage. Cinderella, right? She got Prince Charming on a white horse came and saved her. Like, women are always being saved and men are always the saviors. And then you enter into marriage and it's the total reverse, right? I feel like I'm the savior. Like, I ride the horse, I go get, the sustenance. Like, it's a very different
Conceptual thing.
right, but as young girls, right, pink is pretty, you need to be pretty, you need to talk less. We have said these. I personally have said that to my own daughter now too, like, shh, talk less. I was a very talkative kid and very bossy. Like, every report card, my mom would be told that she's bossy, which now, per my MBA, that's leadership, right? Bossy girls are good leaders down the road, which I still have. I think there are days where I need to control the bossiness because it's not good when you go to someone else's wedding and you're like organizing them for pictures and where your kids are like, Mom, please stop. So what is a healthy relationship? Is there one kind of relationship that's healthy? No, right? It's two different people, an introvert married to an extrovert. What generation are you from? My parents are from baby boomers. Very different concept of relationship. Me and my husband are Xers. Very different type of relationship. We both work. We both have very large careers. We're always on the go. My mom was always a stay-at-home mom. She can't grasp the concept that I can get on a plane and go overseas and give a lecture by myself. She has never left the house without telling my dad. She comes to visit and we're at the mall and she's buying like a piece of jewelry, which I thought was it was sort of expensive. She's like, let me call your dad. And I'm like, is he gonna wear it? And she's like, no, but he should know. And I'm like, whose money is it? What was, my money? And I'm like, freaking buy it. But she can't grasp the concept that I think like that, like you can be independent, but together. And now, the new generation, the Y, the Zs.
Even worse now with it.
I mean, they're on a totally different platform.
Yeah.
So, but things that stay consistent, and those are what I'm going to talk about today. Not the generational differences, not the difference that whether you're an immigrant or you were born here. Things that are universal are what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give you 10 of those. Love and respect. Those are the golden rules. If there's no love and there's no respect, there's no relationship. There has to be harmony. There has to be something about that person that you want to grow with, right? You have to understand each other's feelings. Their opinion matters. You respect them. Respect is you would want for you to, nothing you out of your mouth hurts their feelings, or hurts them, and vice versa. Imagine living with someone that does not respect you. They'll make decisions on their own. They won't treat you nice in front of people. They make you feel less worthy of a person. And if you see these signs showing up in your relationship, those are red flags, and your gut's telling you. Next, trust. The dictionary defines trust as belief in character, strength, and of someone or something. Trust is a relationship and it's critical. I always tell my kids, and also I guess my husband, that trust is like a bank account and you have to put deposits in it. You show up, you say what you say, you mean what you say. And when you withdraw out of that trust account, when you don't show up, when you don't mean what you say, when you lie, when you betray, those are huge withdrawals from the account. If you're living in a negative, there's no trust. if you're worried on, I can't go do this because I don't know what my husband's gonna be up to. If you always have that thing in the back of your head, a red flag. Building trust with your partner is fundamental, and it's a two-way street. Any healthy relationship needs trust. You need honesty, you need open communication, and you need to be vulnerable. Okay, sometimes it's so interesting, you can be vulnerable to your best friend and pour out your heart, but you won't say those same things to your partner, which is the most important person, right? Your friend can't come help you. That partner is the person that's going to support and help you. Honesty. So we all talk about honesty, you know, being authentic, being transparent, saying what you mean, you know, not giving the answer that you think the other person wants. And true honesty always comes from a loving heart, and it's the willingness to be open. Now let's talk about brutal honesty. You know when someone says, let me tell you the truth. You're not ready to hear the truth. That's an excuse to criticize or berate your partner. That's not coming from warmth. That's not coming from a good place. When someone says, I need you, I need to be really honest with you, you already go in a defensive pattern. You're already like, wait, what's up? You can't open to like hear what they're saying because your defense mechanism is up. So even when you are being honest, you have to do it with some warmth. And I keep saying the word warmth because I feel, this is just my perception, we're hardest on the ones we love. We're very nice and kind to everybody out there, but the people that matter, when you open the doors to your house, it's the people that are in there. And those are the people that we're the most toughest with. I think Dr. Hamdan said that, and you know, I work lots of hours and stuff, and I'm always dressed for work. And my mom was staying with me, and she saw me like get dressed for work and come home, and then I have like, you know, my sweatpants on and a bun and my glasses on, and she was like, Nyma, I'm really worried about you. I'm like, what? Your husband's gonna leave you. And I was like, why would he leave me? I'm great. She's like, look at you. You smell like curry. Well, I'm like, well, I'm cooking. So, and you know, like beautify yourself. And so I put lipstick on. My husband comes home and he's like, what happened? So, you know, do we take that time? Do we take that time for that other person? Like, do we ever say, like, our expectations are here, but what are we serving? Like, I bought my husband flowers for Valentine's, and I think he nearly had like a shock. Yeah, like, am I dying? I'm not dying, but it's always expected that the man do everything. Anniversary, he has to plan this, he has to plan. Anything love related, it becomes kind of the man's responsibility. Anything home related becomes the woman. Why don't we change it up? So one thing my husband and I did, because we're very much like equal, we have to stay on balanced footing, is all even anniversaries he plans, all odd anniversaries I plan. Mine are always better, but well, I won't go there. But you know, at least the man tries. So you know, we started from the beginning with like some balanced footing. The other thing my husband told me when we got married was, Nyma, I know you love to talk. I do. He's like, if there's something wrong between us, talk to me first. Don't go talk to your mom. Don't go talk to my mom. And don't talk to your friends. Like, let's fix it between us. And I think that was like the best advice he gave me. Because at that time I was like, what do you know? I know everything. But I took it, and I think it served us well. Because if you ever go talk to your family about your husband, they will never let go of it.
No,
Oh, yes.
Right?
They'll take sides.
They will take sides right away. You go talk to your friend, same thing. Who stays neutral?
Him.
And if you forgot, they will remind you.
They'll remind you,
How
right?
come you forgot? Yeah.
You're like, okay, it's over, Mom, let it go. Oh, hell no. Remember when he did that? I'm like, I can't remember. But I think that's also like, lay down the rules of engagement. How much time do we put into planning the perfect wedding? From the clothes to the snacks to do we plan the marriage? Are we gonna have kids? If we have a fight, how are we gonna come to a solution? What do you wanna do? What are your values? What are mine? Are we gonna be religious? Are we not? How much religion? All these things come into play later as, you know, the onion layers peel off, and then you're just crying. Like, what the heck did I do to myself? But if you had these conversations ahead of time, you'd go into marriage knowing. Separate yet together. Oh my God, this is like, if I could give anybody this advice, separate yet together. Healthy relationships are best described as interdependent. Like Sheikh said, not codependent. Interdependence means you rely on each other for mutual support, but maintain your identity. It's like a tossed salad, right? So US is known as the melting pot. What is a melting pot, right? You put things into it like a soup. Nothing that goes in looks like what comes out. You don't want to be a melting pot in your relationship. You want to be a tossed salad where you can taste the lettuce, you can taste the cucumber, but together it comes together really beautifully and nicely. Have your own career, have your own bank account, have your own group of friends, but then come together on things that are yours. And I know like relationships evolve, but the funny thing about like my husband and I is we don't go to Costco without one another. I know it's really sad. You can see where our relationship is in. That's our thing. Like we go grab Starbucks and then we walk around Costco. And it's our commitment to each other. We won't go to like, and I think it's his over me because I go to Costco, I get a little crazy. But it's just silly things, right? Like we make sure we go take a walk together in the evening, even if it's 10 minutes. Because we live such drastic separate lives. I have a career, he has a career. My son plays soccer, my daughter's in college. We're always apart, but we find these simple things together and they don't have to be these grand, you know, we're gonna jet to Paris. It doesn't have to be that, but it has to be something consistent on a regular basis, right? And it sounds like a contradiction because we're always told like in marriage you have to come together of two beings and blah, blah, blah. It's not that. That's not the reality of it. The reality of it is you say you're a separate entity. So I got this really good advice and I'll share it with the women. Good for the men too. As women, we get married and we go from being girlfriends or, you know, the person you're dating to becoming their mother.
No, not that much.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
most of us do.
Yeah,
He has a mother. Like stop treating him like a child. You pick this is it. Raise your children and be their mother. To him, be his wife, his partner. You don't need to tell him what he needs to wear. Sometimes you do.
Exactly.
Sometimes you do. But you know, things like that just evolve over time where I would see my mom like cutting my dad's food and I'm like, are you? And I would see myself in that because I had already like, okay, no, I'll just take care of it. I'll iron your clothes. I took your clothes out for work. Why am I taking, the man has taken his clothes out for work for 15 years before he married me. He can continue to do so. He can make his own coffee. He can make me a cup too. But as the mother in me, because I'm making, you know, my breakfast for my kids, I'm like, okay, I'll make his, you know, breakfast too. And you keep taking, and you keep taking. And you, at the end, he's living with his mother.
And he would take advantage of that.
Right?
No, he will regret it later. No, some of them take advantage because you keep on giving, and it becomes like as if it's like his rights.
Yeah.
Or if let's say one day you forgot to do his coffee, okay, my coffee wasn't there.
Yeah. Because you would complain to your mom, right? But do you want to be his mother? No. You want to be his wife, his partner, his lover, all those other things that you had initially signed up for. But if you've changed character, he's going to take you for what you are, right? Talk to each other. Communication. Yes.
So you're saying that he's been doing his stuff for 15 years, he can do it. But there are many men in our community or in our culture where their moms have been taking care of them.
Yep.
And then they hand them over to us.
Yep.
And then they take over.
Yep.
He's not used to it.
Yep.
He doesn't know how to iron. He doesn't know, you know what I mean? I never did it. My mom did it for me, so now you do it.
So I have the best advice for that too. I don't know either. You show me. So before I was getting married, this auntie of mine, I love her to death. She said, anytime he asks you, say no, I don't know. She said, you'll get the, you know, oh, do you know how to cook? No. Can you iron? No. Where do you put the detergent?
I don't know.
I don't know. How do you vacuum? Oh, machines make noise, they scare me. But you see, like, you're coming together as a partnership. You're not coming together as his adopted mother. And if he is at that point, right, he needs some more, like, growing up to do.
Oh my God, foster child.
Right? I'm sorry. Communication, let's talk about that. No matter how much you love each other, you have to communicate that. How many of us feel funny to say I love you to your husband? I do. Like, there are days I'm like, okay, yeah, like, go, like, love you. But it's sweet, right? I do love him, and he does love me. And if you start saying nice things to each other, your kids are going to learn that. Your sons are going to learn that. They're going to know how to treat a woman. A girl's going to know how to be treated by a man. I'm going to pick on my husband because he's really funny. His big thing is, like, he's the man, right? And so whenever we go anywhere, he has to hold all the bags. And I'm like, fine, dude. Like, first I would be like, I got it. Now I pick my purse up and I go inside. My husband was traveling and my son was with me. And I, you know, just by osmosis, he was like, Mom, go inside. I got the bags. And I'm like, you're like scrawny. I'll help you. And he was like, no, I got it. And I was like, this is going to be so good for his wife. She's going to thank me for being the most amazing mother-in-law. Because look at this great kid I've raised. And he picked up all the bags and brought them inside and, like, you know, put them away and stuff. So you do learn. Like, you're learning by what your parents are putting forward. You are seeing, you know, if I'm cooking and your husband's washing the dishes, or if he's cooking and you're washing the dishes, you're seeing how you both are coming together. This is what the kids see. This is what they're going to emulate in their life. If they see this guy that comes home and sits on the sofa, turns on the TV, and barks orders, what do you think he's going to do? Same. So, couples need to find a way to communicate that serves their relationships. Their relationship, right? The way my parents communicate is very different than the way my husband and I communicate. The way your friends communicate is going to be very different. Find your own communication style. A really good tip is when you are about to get into a heated battle, you know you're going, war is about to start, you're right, he's wrong, have a glass of water and give him a glass of water too. You'll see the temperature will drop. And in my heart, I always do, somebody had taught me this, it literally, like, just dissipates the, yeah, it's just so miraculous. It just kind of brings the temperature down, and then you're like, is this even worth it? I hate to fight. I'm a very bad, like, so even if my husband and I are fighting and we fought, I'm always like looking at the time because I'm like, how long is this gonna go? And then I, like, after like 20 minutes, I'm like, cool, I take a shower, come back, and I'm like, hey, can we be friends again? And he's like, you're the weirdest woman I've ever met. Like, at least
how many women did he meet?
I know. Very good point. Women fight, and then we go into our cave and put the shutter down. Come out. Nope. Come out. Nope. I open the shutter. I'm like, I'm all good. You're good. You said what you had to. Is it worth it? Is this fight going to break my relationship with this man who I have 2 kids with, who I love? No, it's not worth our time. It's not. We only have Saturday and Sunday together. I'm not going to waste it on a stupid fight over, you could have done this and I could have done this. So learn how to communicate, figure out what, perfect. Fight fair. So there needs to be ground rules to fighting, both for the men and the women. Remain calm. Yes, have a glass of water. Express your feelings in words and not actions. That's the most important thing. Be specific about what is bothering you. You didn't say salam to my mom in 1988. It's not, like, it's not. We're in 2023. Be specific. Keep it to what you're pissed about, right? The other thing I think that's very important is it's not the person, it's the action. So don't become personal. Don't start becoming ugly and spewing venom about the person and crushing the person. Talk about the action. You did this, it made me feel this way. And watch how the fight just becomes completely very different. And deal with one issue at a time. What do we do as women? It's all bottled up. We're like, okay, fight. Let me open the pantry, let me bring it all out. You did this, you did this, you did this, you're a bad father, you're a bad husband, and the guy is just like, okay, I'm just a jerk. Fine, I'm a jerk. And men have a way to do that too. Like they have their own way of turning it around. And no hitting below the belt. How many of us like to hit below the belt? You're smiling. Do you hit below the belt? She's like, no.
Sometimes.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Sometimes, right? Because you know that
It depends on the amount
The
of...
situation.
Yes,
the situation.
Yes.
So what is hitting? You know, attacking areas of personal sensitivity, right? Don't go there, right? Avoid accusations and generalizations. You're a bad father. That's a generalization. Is a person really a bad father? Probably not. Did they, were they 20 minutes to pick up the kid late? It's okay. Things happen. Avoid make-believe. So I'm very good at making make-believe. In my head, that hamster will go so far. We are divorced. I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to, because it's just gotten, and then you just, like a balloon, you pop it. And you're like, okay, come back to what it was really about. Exaggerating. We do that. Women haven't, we're very, we have beautiful right brains and we go into this exaggeration mode. And then feelings and emotions go into that balloon and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And don't stockpile, right? You did this, you did this, you did this. If something, you had a fight about something and it's moved on, don't open the door and bring that back up again. It was done. It's over. Move on. Avoid clamming up. Going into the cave and putting the shutter down. It's not going to be helpful to anyone. Right? You need to come out. You need to say, what you did this, it made me feel this way. And he'll probably or she'll have a reaction to it. Calm down, listen, but listen with an active ear. Most of us listen to have a reply,
To react.
right? We're ready.
It's also about the intention when you listen. Are you listening to really having the intention or the willing?
Right.
Really to
Are you really listening? No.
Or you just listening to, okay, I'm listening, that's it.
Yeah,
and that-
yeah. And then your body language. Yeah, tell me. Yeah. What is your body language open? Right? What does your facial expressions look like? All these things, so much of your body language goes into the fight, right? So look at yourself too. Zoom, actually, because of Zoom, like meetings and stuff, the number of plastic surgeries went up by 140%. Yeah. People got coaches that help them with their physical impression. Because now you can see what you look like, me included. Because I'm very explicit, everything I'm feeling is on my face. And my husband would always say that, I'm like, no. And then Zoom, and I'm like, oh my God, look at the faces I'm making, stop. Like, right? Because somebody would say something in a meeting and I'm like, what are you saying? So look at that facial expressions. Again, make sure they're warm. Compromise. So is it always my way or the highway, or can we find a mutual compromise? We can find a compromise. Whether it's a relationship with your kids or a relationship between you and your spouse or significant other, there's always compromise. And sometimes the sacrifice is worth the relationship. Make sure there's always good intent and positive intent. Again, both people get to have a say in the compromise. It's not my way or it's my way, like, okay, fine, I'll just do it. Don't do that. Find a mutual ground. Communication, again, cornerstone of compromise. I will bring this to the table if you bring this to the table. Talk like adults. You are adults. But when we fight, We fight like we're 5 years old, and somebody's got to win, and someone's got to lose. Balance. Relationships are all about the balance. Is everybody going to be at 50%? No. There's days that one person's at 90 and another's at 10. There's days that one is at 50 and the other one's at 50, and then the reverse. But the sum of it all is balance. Shared decision making is the most important. No one person, even if it is something simple that you know he's gonna say, you make the decision on it. I don't care what sofa you pick, but give him that respect to know this is your house. This is something you're gonna sit on, and I want you to be involved in that decision making. Doesn't that sound nice? It sounds nice. Or as a man, I am putting so much money away for our retirement, so when our kids are gone and we're old, this is the type of money we're gonna have. My father passed away a couple years ago, and of course, you know that the generation, he had taken care of everything. So my mom didn't know how to pay a bill. She didn't know what assets she had. She didn't know what bank account. For us kids, it was losing your father is one thing, and then having to take care of all of the other stuff, and taking care of your mother, and making sure she's financially sustained. So this thing about I take care of the finances is just not good enough for men out there or women out there. Make sure it's something that you both communicate about. How are we going to support our kids? Are we going to pay through college? It can't be one person's decision because I'm the breadwinner, I make those decisions. No, it's your choice to be the breadwinner, but we make choices together. A healthy relationship is about giving, but also taking. Can't always be giving. You know, I think Sadaf said that. You can't pour from an empty well. You've got to take something. And self-care. Like, if he enjoys watching football on Monday evenings, let him watch it in peace, ladies. Grab a book, go watch something on TV. Give him his opportunity to be by himself for a bit. Watch those things like, you know, if you give respected space, gives that person the time to come back to you and be like, thanks for letting me do that. Like, but if you're letting him watch it and you're like, still watching, still football, still, okay, more football. If you're just poking him, has he really enjoyed the frickin' game? No, he's enjoyed you coming in and out of it. Give him that space. And that's where balance comes. Support a person day to day, not just when the big things happen. You know, I'm there for my husband, be there for him. Or I'm there for my wife, be there for her day to day to day. I was starting my Ph.D. and it was really hard, and I had a job, and my husband was working. We had 2 young kids. We called both sets of grandparents, aunts and uncles, to see if someone could help us with the kids. And we got a no from everybody. And, which surprised me, my husband said, I'm going to take a demotion at work, so you can go to school and I'll watch the kids. And I kid you not, so when I wrote my thesis, I dedicated it to him, because if he didn't give that sacrifice, I wouldn't have been able to finish it. In our beginning of our marriage, he was in school and I was working, and I gave that sacrifice. You know, he needed to finish and I was working to maintain us. Never did I think that he would, you know, do the same for me, right? He won my heart. Like, there's, you know, nothing more. Like, and it was really funny because, you know, at all the soccer games or everything, you know, he's taking cookies and he's like, and I kind of felt like jealous at times. I'm like, I'm a better mom, but you know, like I do this. But again, when he was helping with things, I would butt in and then I would say, I need to let him be. Like, if he does it half-at, it's better than nothing, right? Can't be my way. It's going to be his way. So that's support in a relationship. That's when you know you're in a good relationship, you're in a committed relationship. Are there not ups and downs? Of course. Whoever has said a relationship is a walk in the park is crazy. It's not. There are good days and there are bad days, but the sum is good. Commit. I think that's the most important thing. We're not committed about the relationship. It's on surface. It means that you both put in effort. You both see a future together. You both know how to support one another, what she needs from you as well as what you need from her. You talk about your relationship, your hopes and your expectations. And are you both walking together or are you walking separately? Are your paths together? I've seen a lot of couples get divorced in their later years of their life. You're like, you've been together for 20 some years. Why are you divorcing now? Why are they divorcing? Kids are gone. Kids are gone, they're on. And now she's a very different person and he's a very different person. And the kids are gone, there's nothing that bounds them, right? Before, when they're young, you're both running, taking care, and then you figure out, wait, like there was an us before anything else. So remember that us before anything else. Sometimes it's really hard. And that us is different. You know, that us has wrinkles now. That us is tired. So it's not going to be date night and it's not going to be like, you know, jetting away. It might be a walk through Costco with Starbucks. And that's okay, as long as there's an us, but it's a different us. And that's commitment. How to fix a relationship. Sometimes time apart serves us so well. And it's not that separate and you're gone. Sometimes we just need to figure out who we are, what's going on within ourselves, so we can mend and come back. And know the little relationship red flags. All right, don't ignore them. And your gut is amazing. Just hone in on it. Sometimes you need personal space, and that's okay. And sometimes he needs personal space, and that's okay as well. And you know, some of us women, again, we're fixers, right? And if he's quiet or he doesn't want to talk, it's like, tell me. You know, for you to tell me and then let me give you all this advice. Maybe I don't need the advice. Maybe I just need a moment. We forget that, you know, once you leave home and you're working, there's a lot of work pressures out there. And especially being a Muslim, man or woman, there's a lot of pressures. Life is tough. So at least be comforting to one another. When someone walks through the door, say hello, get up, give them a hug. Kids, and I would say the same, like, you know, for your parents as well as people that are in relationships. So a couple years ago, we got a little dog. I swear to God, that dog knows when my husband's coming. 4:30, he parks himself by the window. And when my husband comes home, he barks, jumps, runs around in circles every day. Every day. Shanze is one of my students. Have you seen that happen? Yes. I mean, I can't do all those tricks and stuff, but as an animal, even he knows that somebody important is going to be coming. I'm going to be waiting. How many times do we get involved on a phone conversation or on our phone and the person comes home and you don't even know? 30 minutes pass by. The most important person in your life has walked through the door and you don't know. You don't even get up. That's sad. Whether it's your wife or your husband or your child. I'm on the phone. Put the phone down. Put this gadget down. And give time to that person that's walked through the door. If this little animal knows how to do it, we are ashraful makhluqat, right? We're humans. Embrace each other's differences. Don't try to change. Don't be the mom. Don't be the dad. Embrace, he likes this way, and I like it this way, and that's okay. And consider the other person's perspective. Just because your family does something a certain way doesn't have to mean that it has to be that way. And we're very big on that. We like to push what we've learned, what we know on everybody around us. So, lastly, if you are in a relationship, you have a piece of paper, does your partner encourage you enough? Yes or no? Does he allow you to grow? Does she allow you to grow? Do you share goals for the future? What are those goals? Beyond the kids. Once the kids leave and have their own lives, what are your goals as a couple? We're going to go on Umrah, we're going to go on Hajj, we're going to go do something, we're going to move, into a rural, whatever it is. Do we have the same kind of relationship that we started with? Or have we evolved? Am I different? Is he different? Can I be myself with him? Do I have to accept them for who they are? Am I good with that? What if this husband or this wife is in a car accident and is paralyzed? Would you walk out? Would you stay? Or you get sick, do you expect them to stay? Do we give and take from each other fairly and equally? And is my life better with them? Does our time together have meaning? So this is just self-reflection. If you're here without a spouse, have them look at this. And anything, so the grass is never greener on the other side. So we have to really stop looking at the friends or what we see on media, that this is that perfect relationship. The grass is greener where you water it. That's how I think. I don't think it's, my friend has a certain relationship and I want to emulate that. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. People show you what they want you to know. But this is a relationship that Allah has given you. This person that's come into your life is from the heavens. These kids that you have are from the heavens. This is the only people we have not picked. We pick our friends, we pick out where we work.
You can change them easily.
You can't change your kids.
Exactly what these.
And but you can change your husband. It takes a lot of effort. But Allah even frowns upon divorce. Unless it's very, very toxic. There are ways that you both can come together and work on it. And don't waste time thinking it's going to get better without trying to make a difference.